This channel has been established for visually impaired people. For the visually impaired people, voice narration and a written expression are also provided for the hearing impaired. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Cephalonia or Kefalonia Greek, Kefalonia or Kefallonia, formerly also known as Kefallinia or Kefallenia Kefαλληνία, is the largest of the Ionian Islands in western Greece. It is also a separate regional unit of the Ionian Islands region, and the only municipality of the regional unit. It was also a former Latin Catholic diocese Kefalonia Zakynthos Cefalonia Zante and short-lived titular see as just Kefalonia. The capital of Cephalonia is Argostoli. Contents: 1 Geography, 11 Mountains, 12 Capes, 13 Flora, 14 Fauna, 2 Administration, 3 History, 31 Legend, 32 Archaeology, 33 Middle Ages, 34 Venetian rule, 35 French, Ionian state period and British rule, 36 Union with Greece, 37 World War II, 38 The Great Earthquake of 1953, 39 Recent history, 310 Population, 4 Ecclesiastical history, 5 Climate, 6 Economy, 61 Agriculture, 62 Olive oil production, 63 Tourism, 7 Culture, 71 Monasteries and churches, 72 Music, 73 Literature and film, 74 Museums, 8 Higher education, 9 Sport, 91 Baseball, 92 Cycling, 93 Football, Soccer, 94 Other sports, 10 Transportation, 101 Harbors and ports, 102 Roads, 103 Public transportation, 104 Airport, 11 Notable people and residents, 12 Gallery, 13 Further reading, 14 See also, 15 References, 16 Sources and external links. Geography. A poppy field, Argostoli and Lixori from the mountains. The famous Myrtos Beach, Melisani Cave. The main island of the regional unit is Cephalonia and has a size of 773. West-northwest are the Peliki Mountains, where Lixori is found, with other mountains including Gerania and Agia Dynati. The top of Mount Anos is covered with fir trees and as a natural park forestry is rare on the island, however its timber output is one of the highest in the Ionian Islands, although lower than that of Aelia. In the Peloponnese forest fires were common during the 1990s and the early 2000s, and still pose a major threat to the population. Capes, Cape Agios Georgios, approximate coordinates 38 degrees 10'00 N 20 degrees 26'00 E, 381,667 degrees north, 2,043,333 degrees east, 381,667, 2,043,333 Cape Cunhapetra, Cape Atheras, northwestern corner of island Flora. Most of the Anos mountain range is designated as a national park and is covered with the unique species of Greek fir Abies cephalonica and black pine Pinus nigra. Fauna. Cephalonia is well known for its endangered loggerhead turtle population which nest on many beaches along the south coast of the island. A small population of the endangered Mediterranean monk seal, Monachus monacis, also lives around the island's coast, especially on parts of the coast which are inaccessible to humans due to the terrain. Caves on these parts of the coast offer ideal locations for the seals to give birth to their pups and nurse them through the first months of their lives. The European pine marten is known to live on the island. Over 200 species of birds have been spotted on the island. Administration. Cephalonia is a distinct regional unit of the Ionian Islands region, and the only municipality of the regional unit. The seat of administration is Argostoli, the island's main town. Amid the 2011 Kallikratis government reform, the regional unit of Kefallinia was created from part of the former Kefalonia and Ithaca prefecture. During the same reform, the current municipality of Cephalonia was created from the 8 former municipalities. Argostoli, the capital Peliki Peninsula with main town Lixori Sami, the third largest town and most important port Orissos, with the harbours of Fiskardo and Assos Elios Pranoi, with the harbour of Poros and Skala Levatho, the valley south of Argostoli Amala, the valley at the monastery of St. Gerasimos, Pylaros with the harbour Agia Ephemia and the beach of Myrtos. The municipality has an area of 786,575 square kilometers. The Cephalonia regional unit also includes a number of uninhabited islands of the Echinades group. They are administered by the municipality of Pylaros. The most significant are as follows: name Greek subgroup area km², highest point location Prasso Draconaires, 38 degrees 28 minutes 58 seconds north, 20 degrees 58 minutes 10 seconds east, 3,848,278 degrees north, 2,096,944 degrees east, 3,848,278, 2,096,944 Prasso Sofia. Draconaires 0174 38 degrees 28 minutes 49 seconds north 21 degrees 0 minutes 5 seconds east 3,848,028 degrees north 2,100,139 degrees east 3,848,028 2,100,139 Sophia Lamprinos Draconaires 0352 61 meters 38 degrees 28 minutes 22 seconds north 21 degrees 0 minutes 18 seconds east 3,847,278 degrees north 2,100,500 degrees east 3,847,278 2,100,500 Lambrinus Philippos Draconaires 0046 38 degrees 28 minutes 17 seconds north 21 degrees 0 minutes 55 seconds east 3,847,139 degrees north 2,101,528 degrees east 3,847,139 2,101,528 Pistros Draconaires 0114 41 meters 38 degrees 27 minutes 51 seconds north 21 degrees 0 minutes 58 seconds east 3,846,417 degrees north 2,101,611 degrees east 3,846,417 2,101,611 Pistros Callejeros Draconaires 0249 38 degrees 29 minutes 28 seconds north 21 degrees 8 minutes 49 seconds east 3,849,111 degrees north 2,114,694 degrees east 3,849,111 2,114,694 Callejeros Sacalonisi Draconaires 01 38 degrees 27 minutes 44 seconds north 21 degrees 2 minutes 11 seconds east 3,846,222 degrees north 2,103,639 degrees east 3,846,222 2,103,639 Sacalonisi Giravarus or G. cravaris Gerabares or Incrabars Modia 24 meters 38 degrees 26 minutes 24 seconds north 21 degrees 1 minute 36 seconds east 3,844,000 degrees north 2,102,667 degrees east 3,844,000 2,102,667 Gravaris Soros Modia 0038 31 meters 38 degrees 26 minutes 5 seconds north 21 degrees 1 minute 30 seconds east 3,843,472 degrees north 2,102,500 degrees east 3,843,472 2,102,500 Soros Apasa Modia 00224 17 meters 38 degrees 25 minutes 53 seconds north 21 degrees 1 minute 29 seconds east 3,843,139 degrees north 2,102,472 degrees east 3,843,139 2,102,472 Apasa Modio or Modi Modia 0258 66 meters 38 degrees 25 minutes 25 seconds north 21 degrees 1 minute 20 seconds east 3,842,361 degrees north 2,102,222 degrees east 3,842,361 2,102,222 Modi Petalas Oniades 5,497 251 meters 38 degrees 24 minutes 50 seconds north 21 degrees 5 minutes 41 seconds east 3,841,389 degrees north 2,109,472 degrees east 3,841,389 2,109,472 Petalas History legend Excavations from Melisani in the Archaeological Museum of Argostoli and Asian explaining the name of Cephalonia and reinforcing its cultural connections with Athens associates the island with the mythological figure of Cephalus, who helped Amphitryon of Mycenae in a war against the Taphians and Teleboans. He was rewarded with the island of Same, which thereafter came to be known as Cephalonia. Cephalonia has also been suggested as the Homeric Ithaca, the home of Odysseus, rather than the smaller island bearing this name today. Robert Biddlestone, in his book Odysseus Unbound, has suggested that Peliki, now a peninsula of Cephalonia, was a separate island during the Late Bronze Age, and it may be this which Homer was referring to when he described Ithaca. A project which started in the summer of 2007 and lasted 3 years has examined this possibility. Cephalonia is also referenced in relation to the goddess Britomartis, as the location where she is said to have received divine honors from the inhabitants under the name of Lafria. Archaeology coins from Pale, Pali, the ancient town north of Lixori in the southwestern portion of the island, in the area of Levatho. An ongoing archaeological field survey by the Irish Institute at Athens has discovered dozens of sites. With dates ranging from the Paleolithic to the Venetian period. From an archaeological point of view, Cephalonia is an extremely interesting island. Archaeological finds go back to 40,000 BP without doubt. The most important era for the island is the Mycenaean era, from approximately 1500 to 1100 BC. The Archaeological Museum in Cephalonia's capital, Argostoli, although small, is regarded as the most important museum in Greece for its exhibits from this era. The most important archaeological discovery in Cephalonia and indeed in Greece of the past 20 years is that, in 1991, of the Mycenaean Tholos tomb at the outskirts of Zanata, near Poros in southeastern Cephalonia municipality of Ilios Prani, in a lovely setting of olive trees, cypresses and oaks. The tomb was erected around 1300 BC. Kings and highly ranked officials were buried in such tombs during the Mycenaean period. It constitutes the largest Tholos tomb yet found in northwestern Greece and was excavated by archaeologist Lazaros Kolonas. The size of the tomb, the nature of the burial offerings found there, and its well-chosen position point to the existence of an important Mycenaean town in the vicinity. In late 2006, a Roman grave complex was uncovered as the foundation of a new hotel was being excavated in Fiskardo. The remains date to the period between the 2nd century BC and the 4th century AD. Archaeologists described it as the most important find of its kind in the Ionian Islands. Inside the complex, 5 burial sites were found, including a large vaulted tomb and a stone coffin, along with gold earrings and rings, gold leaves that may have been attached to ceremonial clothing, glass and clay pots, bronze artifacts decorated with masks, a bronze lock, and bronze coins. The tomb had escaped the attention of grave robbers and remained undisturbed for thousands of years in a tribute to Roman craftsmanship. When the tomb was opened, the stone door easily swung on its stone hinges very near to the tomb. A Roman theatre was discovered, so well preserved that the metal joints between the seats were still intact. A dissertation published in 1987 claims that St. Paul, on his way from Palestine to Rome in AD 59, was shipwrecked and confined for 3 months not on Malta but on Cephalonia. According to Clement of Alexandria, the island had the largest community of Carpocratians, an early Gnostic Christian sect, because Carpocrates lived on the island. Middle Ages Evangelistria Church, St. George's Castle. During the Middle Ages, the island was the centre of the Byzantine theme of Cephalonia. After 1185 it became part of the County Palatine of Kefalonia and Zakynthos under the Kingdom of Naples until its last count Leonardo III Tacco was defeated and the island conquered by the Ottomans in 1479. Venetian rule. Further information, Ionian Islands under Venetian rule. The Turkish rule lasted only until 1500, when Cephalonia was captured by a Spanish-Venetian army, a rare Venetian success in the Second Ottoman-Venetian War. From then on, Cephalonia and Ithaca remained overseas colonies of the Venetian Republic until its very end, following the fate of the Ionian Islands, completed by the capture of Lefkis from the Turks in 1684. The Treaty of Campoformio dismantling the Venetian Republic awarded the Ionian Islands to France, a French expeditionary force with boats captured in Venice taking control of the islands in June 1797. In 1596 the Venetians built the Assos Castle, one of Cephalonia's main tourist attractions today. From the 16th to the 18th centuries, the island was one of the largest exporters of currants in the world with Zakynthos, and owned a large shipping fleet, even commissioning ships from the Danzig shipyard. Its towns and villages were mostly built high on hilltops, to prevent attacks from raiding parties of pirates that sailed the Ionian Sea during the 1820s. French, Ionian state period and British rule. The sea mills at the Bay of Argostoli 1849 were a natural curiosity in the 19th century. Mount Anos in the background, the central square of Lixouri. 1910 Venice was conquered by France in 1797 and Cephalonia, along with the other Ionian islands, became part of the French department of Ithac. In the following year the French were forced to yield the Ionian Islands to a combined Russian and Turkish fleet from 1799 to 1807. Cephalonia was part of the Septinsular Republic, nominally under the sovereignty of the Ottoman Empire, but protected by Russia by the Tilsit Treaty in 1807. The Ionian Islands were ceded back to France, which remained in control until 1809. Then Great Britain mounted a blockade on the Ionian Islands as part of the war against Napoleon, and in September of that year they hoisted the British flag above the castle of Zakynthos Cefalonia, and Ithaca soon surrendered, and the British installed provisional governments. The Treaty of Paris in 1815 recognised the United States of the Ionian Islands and decreed that it become a British protectorate. Colonel Charles Philippe de Bosset became provisional governor between 1810 and 1814. During this period he was credited with achieving many public works, including the Drepano Bridge. A few years later resistance groups started to form, although their energy in the early years was directed to supporting the Greeks in the revolution against the Turks. It soon started to turn towards the British. By 1848 the resistance movement was gaining strength and there were skirmishes with the British Army in Argostoli and Lixouri, which led to some relaxation in the laws and to freedom of the press. Union with Greece was now a declared aim, and by 1850, a growing restlessness resulted in even more skirmishes. Cephalonia, along with the other islands, were transferred to Greece in 1864 as a gesture of goodwill when the British-backed Prince William of Denmark became King George I of the Hellenes. Union with Greece in 1864, Cephalonia, together with all the other Ionian islands, became a full member of the Greek state. World War II. Further information, Axis occupation of Greece during World War II. Fiscardo in the 1940s. The Italian President Giorgio Napolitano in Cephalonia during remembrance ceremonies in honor of the soldiers of the massacre of the Acqui Division in World War II. The island was occupied by Axis powers until late 1943. The occupying force was predominantly Italian. The 33rd Infantry Division Acqui plus Navy personnel totaled 12,000 men, but about 2,000 troops from Germany were also present. The island was largely spared the fighting, until the armistice with Italy concluded by the Allies in September 1943. Confusion followed on the island, as the Italians were hoping to return home, but German forces did not want the Italians' munitions to be used eventually against them. Italian forces were hesitant to turn over weapons for the same reason as German reinforcements headed to the island. The Italians dug in and, eventually, after a referendum among the soldiers as to surrender or battle, they fought against the new German invasion. The fighting came to a head at the siege of Argostoli, where the Italians held out. Ultimately the Germans prevailed, taking full control of the island. Approximately 5,000 of the 9,000 surviving Italian soldiers were executed in reprisal by the German forces. The book Captain Corelli's Mandolin, which was later made into a film of the same name, is based on this story. While the war ended in Central Europe in 1945, Cephalonia remained in a state of conflict due to the Greek Civil War. Peace returned to Greece and the island in 1949. The Great Earthquake of 1953. Main article, 1953 Ionian earthquake. Some ruins of the earthquake are still visible. Cephalonia lies just to the east of a major tectonic fault, where the European plate meets the Aegean plate at a slip boundary. This is similar to the more famous San Andreas Fault. There are regular earthquakes along this fault. A series of 4 earthquakes hit the island in August 1953, and caused major destruction, with virtually every house on the island destroyed. The third and most destructive of the quakes took place on August 12, 1953 at 9:24 Coordinated Universal Time 11:24 local time, with a magnitude of 73 on the Richter scale. Its epicenter was directly below the southern tip of Cephalonia, and caused the entire island to be raised 60. The 1953 Ionian earthquake disaster caused huge destruction, with only regions in the north escaping the heaviest tremors and houses there remaining intact. Damage was estimated to run into tens of millions of dollars, equivalent to billions of drachmas, but the real damage to the economy occurred when residents left the island. An estimated 100,000 of the population of 125,000 left the island soon after, seeking a new life elsewhere. Recent history. Promenade of Argostoli. The forest fire of the 1990 1990s caused damage to the island's forests and bushes, especially a small scar north of Troyanata, and a large area of damage extending from Katelios north to west of Zanata, ruining about 30 square kilometers. 12. Snowstorm blanketed the entire island, causing extensive blackouts. The island was recently struck yet again by another forest fire in the south of the island, beginning on Wednesday, July 18, 2007 during an unusual heatwave, and spreading slowly. Firefighters along with helicopters and planes battled the blaze for some days, and the spectacle frightened residents on that area of the island. In 2011, the 8 former municipalities of the island lost their independence to form one united municipality after losing its role as the capital of the island in the 19th century. Lixouri lost also its role as a seat of a municipality after 500 years. The Technological Educational Institute of the Ionian Islands closed one faculty in Lixouri and one in Argostoli. Population in the ancient period, the people lived in 4 cities on the island. Krani, Sami, Pale and Prani formed a federation called Tetrapolis. The population reached 70,000 in 1896, but declined gradually in the 20th century. The Great 1953 Ionian earthquake forced many people to leave the island. Many people who left the island moved to Patras or Athens, or they immigrated to America and Australia, following relatives who had left the island decades before. In the same time, people from poorer areas of Greece such as Epirus and Thrace came to the island. The population has hovered between 35,000 and 42,000 since then. In the 2011 census, it was 35,801. Year population 1879 68,321 1896 70,077 1920 55,030 1940 58,437 1961 39,793 1981 41,319 2001 34,544 2011 35,801. Most of the indigenous people of Cephalonia have surnames ending in atos, and almost every settlement on the island has a name ending in ata, such as Metahata, Chavriata, Frangata, Lordata, Favata, Delaportata and others. Ecclesiastical history. In 1222 the Frankish Crusaders established the diocese of Kefalonia. Zakynthos Cefalonia Zante in Curiate Italian, which survived their rule and even the Turks on 19,190,603. The residential see was suppressed but immediately transformed into a titular bishopric of Kefalonia Cephalonia in Italian, its territory and title being merged into the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Corfu. Zakynthos Cefalonia in 1921. This was also suppressed, never having had an incumbent climate. Cephalonia has hot, sunny summers and mild rainy winters. During winter it can occasionally snow in the mountains of the island. It is very wet in the wettest month of December when 115. Month January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Year average high degree C degree F 143,577,141. 574 sextillion 157 quintillion 603 quatuordecillion 185 tridecillion 653 duodecillion 229 undecillion 732 decillion 270 nonillion 806 octillion 295 septillion 851 sextillion 299 quintillion 858 quadrillion 269 trillion 804 billion 235 million 743,190 662,155,599,215,707 daily mean degree C degree F 113 523 111 52 123 541 149 588 197 675 226 727 251 octillion 772 septillion 257 sextillion 783 quintillion 230 quadrillion 734 trillion 199 billion 678 million 159,606 126 547 178 64 average low degree C degree F 83 469 80 464 90 482 112 522 145 581 182 648 206 691 216 709 191 664 163 613 128 55-97-495-142-576. Average rainfall inches 931-3665 1000-3937-666-262-497-1957-1905-003-105-0413 13-005-16-022-313-1557-287-1539-06-7791-30672. Average rainy days 10 mm 999. 53-1-0-1-3-7-11-12-70. Source: Météo-Climat BZH Economy. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2015. Learn how and when to remove this template message. Calcium carbonate loaded in the port of Argostoli Fiscardo is a tourism attraction. The northern part of the island. Wine and raisins are the oldest products exported, being important until the 20th century. Today fish farming and calcium carbonate are most important agriculture. The primary agricultural occupations are animal breeding and olive growing, with the remainder largely composed of grain and vegetables. Most vegetable production takes place on the plains, which cover less than 15% of the island, most of which is rugged and mountainous, suitable only for goats. Less than a quarter of the island's land is arable. Until the 1970s, most Cephalonians lived in rural areas, while today, 2/3 of the population lives in urban areas, with the other third in rural towns and villages close to farmland. The island has a long winemaking tradition and is home to the dry, white lemony wines made from the Robola grape. Olive oil production. Olive oil production is a major component of Cephalonia's economy until the 18th century. The quantity of olive oil produced on the island just covered the needs of the residents. However, the pressure of Venetian conquerors for olive plantation, especially after the loss of Peloponnese and Crete, resulted in increasing the production to such a degree that the first exports to Venice began before the 1953 Ionian earthquake. There were 200 oil presses operating. On the island, today, there are 13. There are over 1 million olive trees on Cephalonia, covering almost 55% of the island's area. Olive oil is very important to the island's local, rural economy. Koroniki and Thiako are the two main varieties cultivated on the island, followed by a smaller number of Entopia and Matolia. Kefalonian olive oil has a green tone, a rich, greasy touch, and low acidity. Tourism to Cephalonia started in the early 19th century. Even the royal family of Greece sent their children in the summer months to Lixouri, in the early 20th century, but the island was not discovered by most tourists until the 1980s. Tourists from all over Greece, Europe and the world visit Cephalonia. It is a popular vacation destination for many Italians, due to its proximity to Italy. As one of the largest islands in Greece, it is well equipped to handle the influx of tourists during the summertime, and it has something to offer to everyone. 2 cultural attractions, the picturesque fishing villages of Fiscardo and Assos, and various natural attractions, including Melisani Underground Lake, Drogorati Cave and Myrtos Beach, have helped popularize Cephalonia. The film, Captain Corelli's Mandolin 2001, shot on the island itself, made Cephalonia more widely known. Culture. The Church of Gerasimos of Kefalonia, patron saint of Cephalonia, in Scala Cambana Square, Argostoli monasteries and churches. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2015. Learn how and when to remove this template message across the broader island. 2 large monasteries are to be found. The first is that of Hagia Panagia in Markopoulo to the southeast, and the other lies on the road between Argostoli and Mihata, on a small plain surrounded by mountains. This second has an avenue of about 200 trees aligned from NW to SE, with a circle in the middle, and is the monastery of Saint Gerasimos of Kefalonia, patron saint of the island, whose relics can be seen and venerated at the old church of the monastery. The monastery of Siscia was probably found by Francis of Assisi. It was destroyed in 1953, but the ruins still exist. Although much of the island was destroyed by earthquakes, many notable churches all over the island have survived, some dating back to the Renaissance. The ornaments of the churches are influenced by Venetian mannerism music. Further information, Ionian school music and music of the Heptanese. The Lixouri Philharmonic Orchestra. During Easter, the Ionian Islands have a musical tradition called the Ionian School. Lixouri has the Philharmonic Orchestra since 1836 and Argostoli the Rokos Vergatis Conservatory. Richard Strauss visited Lixouri sometimes, where he had an affair with the pianist Dora Wihan. Born Weiss. Literature and film. The novelists Nikos Kavadias (1910–1975) and the Swiss Georges Haldas. Ennio Morricone made his film Cephalonia, also about the massacre. Museums. Corgelenios Museum under the Corgelenios Library in Argostoli. Cosmatatos Foundation in Argostoli. Archaeological Museum of Argostoli. Iakovatios Library and Museum in Lixouri. Museum in Fiscardo. Kefallonia Natural History Museum. Higher Education. Technological Educational Institute of the Ionian Islands, Argostoli Campus. Department of Biological Agriculture and Department of Public Relations and Communication. Technological Educational Institute of the Ionian Islands, Lixouri Campus. Department of Business Administration. Cycling AINOS. Kefalonia Padilidikos Emilos 26710-25029. Football. Soccer. See also Kefalonia. Ithaca Football Clubs Association. Inogi Argostoli O, Argostoli Asteras. Lixouri Asteras Z Dilanata O, Dilanata Ifgeros Feroclades. Argostoli Ikosimias O Kefalleniakos. Kefalonia. Ithaca Levatho O, Levatho. Lixouri O, Lixouri Olympiaki Flaga, Olympic Flame. Olympiakos. Argostoli Pig. Kefalleniakos. Palixoriakos AC Papavrgiakos. Pau Kefalos. Pylariakos, Pylaros Prudus Ataki, Ithaca. Sami O, Sami. Other sports. Nautical Racing Club of Kefalonia and Ithaca. Natura Peninsula. There is a road connection to the rest of the island, but driving from Lixouri to Argostoli involves a 30. Cephalonia has one airport, Kefalonia Island International Airport, IATA, EFL, ICAO, LGKF, with a runway around 24.